Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
How you doing? This is Kevin Connelly from Iron Age Mystics, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Oh, yeah.
The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have Kevin Connelly, the vocalist of Iron Age Mystics. Iron Age Mystics' debut CD, Pride Before the Fall, is being released in 4 parts until the final release date in May, which will be the 19th. Their current single and video, Save It for the Revolution, is out now, and part 1 is also out now for Pride Before the Fall. Plus, they got The Great Divide. You know, we'll get into all of this. So they're going to release 4 parts of this, everybody, until the actual release date of May 19th. And this is interesting. And they're not the only group to do this, too. So, Kevin, how's it going?
It's going great, John. It's going great, John. How's it going with you, man?
Doing awesome. Glad to have you on the show and talk about the Iron Age Mystics and find out what's going on, especially with this new album. But first of all, let's jump right into this part. How has it been working with Tag Publicity so far?
I can put it into one word, man, like awesome. These guys are great, you know? I mean, they got us hooked up with you. They got us hooked up. I've been doing so many interviews over the past month since we got this campaign rolling. It's been its own full-time job, man. So, yeah, 2 thumbs up, 3 thumbs up if I had them. Seriously.
But isn't that awesome, though, to be an independent band and have somebody to back you like that just throws you out all these damn interviews to just get your music out like that?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's better in a lot of ways. It's because you're working. Like, I've been in and out of a few label deals in my life, and they're not working with you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're just kind of shoving the shit in your face. It's a very chill kind of hands-off kind of deal. But yeah, with these guys, it's 1-to-1. They're on it, and some great interviews with some great people. So I can't complain. And
it's good to work with a PR firm that is not bigger than the band, as I should say. Oh, did I say that?
Yeah, you did, John. You slipped up there. So yeah, you're forgiven. Yeah, no, like I said, it's very down to earth. It's very cool. It's very chill. And it's very exciting. So, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I like working with Tag. Tracy and Tom, they're so awesome folks, man. So awesome folks.
Yeah, you got it.
So Iron Age Mystics' debut album, Pride Before the Fall, is being released in 4 parts until, like I said, the album is released in May. Why did you guys want to go this route and just break this up? I mean, did you just want to get it out there and let everybody get the feel for it, and then when the album comes out, just go ahead and just release it all?
Well, a little bit what you say there, John, about letting people get the feel for it, for sure. Yeah, the other part of it is it's a pretty intense album, and there's a lot to take in, especially, I think, on the lyrical side, right? So, give people 3 tracks a month, give or take, let them chew on it, and let them see if they want to come back for more. This was my thinking, anyway.
John 5 also did the same thing with his album, his previous album that he did. He released a track like every month or so until... Oh, wow. All the tracks were out, every single track, and then put the album out.
Yep.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a smart idea, honestly.
Oh, thanks, John.
Iron Age Mystics has released the lyric video for your first single, Save It for the Revolution. Was it hard to choose between the current set of songs on this album, which one would be the first single? And what did you want that first song, for someone who has not got to hear you guys say? What did you want them to hear from it?
I think of the first 3 tracks, that song, or maybe even the entire album for all I know, but I think of the first 3 tracks, sequential order on the album, that one sums up the spirit of the album best. I mean, it's basically a call for people to come together, set aside your petty differences, your lefts, your rights, your this, your that, and realize that it's the people who have to call the system out, right? Who have to bring truth to power, as they say, right? Mm-hmm. And that song, or that message is pivotal to the album, and that the message is also pivotal in the song, right? So to me, it was almost a no-brainer to pick that guy first.
Any songs standing out more to you than any right now, if possible, Kevin? Because I know that these must change every time you go back and you listen to this album.
I might be a wee bit close to the album to address that one. Like, I'll tell you something today, and if you were to ask me tomorrow, I'd probably say something different. In terms of playing live, they're all fun. But in terms of meaning and punch, I really, really enjoy While You Were Asleep. The anthem, You've Got the Power. I've seen, particularly in that song, I've seen how it just, right cold. I mean, because great people who come to see the Mystics haven't seen them before and may only be a little bit acquainted with their music. But that song in particular seems to just grab them. You can just feel everybody coming together, and the room changes, right? It's no longer just a rock show. It's like, wow, there's something going on here. Usually when we play that song, I don't know why.
Well, we could just feel it, man. I mean, we could feel as a fan watching your show or any band show that we're getting 100% or we're getting bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yep.
we know.
Yep. No, I hear you exactly, man. And I was going to use the term grab them by the hearts, but I honestly think that's what it does, because it's about, it's about individual personal power, and it's about unity. And it also has a very spiritual theme to it as well, right? Which I don't think can be excluded from conversation about that song. So yeah, and you're right. It's a no bullshit, straight to rock anthem calling for unity.
I'm amazed, folks. I've done many, many, many interviews, and for the first time that I can recall, Kevin hit the nail on the head, just like I've said a million times before. It's a spiritual journey to latch onto a song or to a band. You just got to know it. You just got to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you hope everyone takes away from this new single, or just the message you hope they hear while listening to it, or just any of Iron Age Mystics music in general?
I mean, we all have them. They're called core beliefs, right? And so we were brought up, to be left of center, right of center. I don't know. You're religious, you're not religious. And if you're religious, what religion are you with? There's all these, and then there's, of course, race and gender and what have you. There's all these things that are used so vigorously in the mainstream media as divisive points between people, right? And it's pretty scopic thing to want to say, wow, geez, I hope the music softens those edges. It allows people a comfort zone where they can step away from their minor bias, or their minor gender bias, or their minor political bias, and realize that we're all goddamn people. We have so much more in common with each other than we do with the people who inhabit the power structure, right? And, strength in numbers, of course, that's obvious, but in terms of common values, man, like, we all pretty much have the same. We want to live a decent life. We want to work and live in, have some form of dignity in a day-to-day basis, right? We just all want the same basic things, right? And so it's the opposite of divisive. It's a call for people mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to loosen up a little bit and call to unity. That's the overarching message when it comes down to individual ones. There's songs that are meant to wake you up, like Thought Police. It's about the rise of the surveillance state, which, since the turn of the end of the 21st century, man, you have to be blind not to see what's going on, right? Mm-hmm. Although, no, that's not true. You'd have to be willfully ignorant not to see what's going on, man. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the establishment interverses with people, right? And so that's one very potent message away from what I just spoke in terms of the overarching message, right? And there's others too. There's information outlaw, the whistleblowers who have risked their asses, their careers, and sometimes their lives to get the truth out to the people, right? So that particular song is a deliberate tip of the hat to those rare and brave folk, right? So, overarchingly, the message is pretty much as I spoke it. I hope I didn't mangle it too badly. And, and the individual messages also exist within the individual songs, and they vary quite a bit.
Is there any songs, Kevin, that didn't make this album that could possibly see the light of day on another album or another EP possibly?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think, I haven't done a count because I haven't done a material review in quite a while because I've been so, I've been so focused in on getting this out, right? But man, we've got probably, and I'm not talking about B-side stuff, I'm talking about A-side stuff, probably almost a full album of material that's just sitting there waiting to be pounced on. So, I look forward to, once this whole process is done and we played out live and, I spoke to another interviewer and I said, I want to be back in the studio by fall, if it's possible, if we can pull that off. But yeah.
Yeah, I like Save It for the Revolution. I like the heaviness of this song. I like just everything about that song. I think you guys really, really did a great job on it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate that.
I want to give a shout out to the artist. Who's doing the artwork for the album Pride Before the Fall?
Well, there's two. The lady who actually did the artwork that's on the front cover, in other words, the illustration, her name is Giselle Silvestri. She's a local artist. We bought two of her. I shouldn't say we bought. She's the wife of one of the guitar players in the Mystics, Chuck Brown. And she's an incredible artist. And we have two of her works hanging up around our place here in Toronto. And so that's the lady who did the illustration, and the lady who did the illustrating is a lady by the name of Mariana Grisova, she teaches at a college here, and she's a good friend of my wife's, and incredible lady. And yeah, no, it's one of the lucky bits about being me, John, is I just seem to be surrounded by incredibly talented people all the time.
That's good. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man, I dig it, of course.
Yeah, and I always want to give a shout out to the artists because I don't think that they get enough praise for what they do, because they have to actually see inside your eyes what you're wanting on an album. And it's hard to work and actually get exactly what you want.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I mean, speaking of the art and the artist and giving praise, this is about a month ago this happened. There's an American political illustrator by the name of Mr. Fish, otherwise known as Dwayne Booth. And this guy is cutting edge, man, like LA Times, Truthdig, Village Voice, right? This guy's serious, serious, serious. I've known about his work for years. I've got a book, a night table book, written by him and composed by him. Brilliant, brilliant artist. So a bass player who actually gave me the book got in contact with Dwayne Booth and said, we've got a record coming out, here's a website, could you maybe do something for us, that kind of deal. He gets back, he goes, oh man, I'm so busy, but I'll listen to the music, and, and we're going, well, May would be fine, if you get around to it. So this guy, Dwayne Booth, gets back to us, pushes everything off his desk, right, and says, I'll have it to you by Monday. I love this, and we're friends. And good to his word, he sent us this brilliant illustration written directly about the song Pride Before the Fall. And it's up on our website, and we're going to make T-shirts out of it. But wow, did it ever, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Mm-hmm. In this case, it's worth all the words in the song and then a few more, man. It's awesome, right? So yeah, there's another shout out to the great talent that have just, found their way into the fold, man. It's awesome.
Who's producing this album, or who actually produced this, Kevin?
Say generously that the band produced it. I'd say probably about 80% of the arranging, and some of the more whack ideas are mine, because I riff, and that happens. But the actual sound, the sonics, it was mixed by Bill Bell, who is an old chum of mine. We actually lived together for a couple of years, co-wrote a zillion songs. My solo album came out 20 years ago. Brilliant talent, brilliant guitar player, and a brilliant engineer. And again, in that friendship way, what we paid to have the album mixed by Bill was, of course, a fraction of what Bill would have charged anybody who walked in off the street, man. So again, it's another, it's another example of the luck of being, because I've been in the industry for quite a while, and I have a pretty decent name, of course, I think, or so I say anyway. But he's another person I want to tip the hat to, because man, when we heard it come out the other end after he mixed it, I was just smoked. We were all smoked, man. He's brilliant talent. So Bill Bell, there you go.
Not to take away from the Iron Age Mystics interview here, but what about your solo stuff, man? Could we ever see anything possibly again from you?
Yeah, something solo. Yeah, it's not where my head's at right now, man. But yeah, if I was to start working on a solo album, I'd probably abandon pretty much every approach that I'm known for to take musically, and just try something new, maybe something really organic and acoustic. I've never done that particularly. I've done it in individual songs, but maybe some gentler messages and some more acoustic-oriented music. I don't know, but it's definitely possible. It might be in the cards, man.
Never say never.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How much growth musically have you seen this band, including yourself, go through from album to album with Iron Age Mystics, or has it just been more of just a personal growth for all of you guys involved with this so far?
Myself, I mean, I'll speak a little bit for the guys, as much as I can anyway, and then I'll speak for myself. The four of us, when we got together, didn't really have any high expectations. It was just a writing project, basically. And we got so you start from zero expectations, but this is fun, twice a week, hang out with the guys and, just jam and see what you come up with, record it, right? Live off the floor. So I figure it was about the 3 or 4 month point, and we were recording these little song buds and stashing them on a hard drive. And the guys, it was actually the drummer and the bass player who started riffing You've Got the Power, that song again, right? And then I ran to the keyboard and started playing the very kind of Led Zeppelin Kashmir stuff for the bridge and started to lay out chord patterns and shit. Came up with a melody. Alan Wong, who's a brilliant co-creator. He's one of the best, if not the best, co-creators I've ever worked with, musically speaking. Just killed it. And it was at that point, for me, that I knew, after hearing it on playback, that we had to take this to another level, right? I just knew it. It had that click, right? And so, yeah, following suit with that, the growth was from, as I said already, zero expectations to, holy shit, this could really be killer, right? I don't think, I mean, the guys themselves, speaking, I think, for Alan and Clayton, they weren't, I mean, I've been doing this since I was 17. I've been in and out of several record deals. I played the biggest stages in this country several times, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Those guys didn't have the same experience base, so they're very much greener. I mean, only 1 out of 3 of them had ever actually been in a live recording studio before, or in a real recording studio before. So I imagine that you can take what I said from going from zero belief to 100%. Again, I'm just speaking for the guys, and they probably interject with something funny or sarcastic at this point where they're here. But I imagine their belief went from about 0 to 110%. Yeah, but yeah, growth exponential off that first bit, and certainly as we continue to kind of keep the same standard of writing up, it was relative to most bands that break up after 3 months of dashing around. It was pretty quick how it all came together.
Do you like to do anything differently during the writing and recording process to maybe help keep your mind fresh and open to not let the music get stale? Do you like to do anything differently to help you out maybe?
Yeah, I do. And I think the older and the more mature I get as a songwriter, the more I do want to take, if something seems to be going in a certain direction, I want to veer away from that direction suddenly and abruptly, or just subtly, just so it doesn't become formulaic, right? And that's another point where Al, as a co-writer and an arranger, he's very, very strong. I think it's because he has a short attention span, so he gets bored really easily. But yeah, just introducing something that makes that snaps your head around and goes, "Hey, are you listening?" And I love that shit. I love writing that into the song, right?
What can fans expect at a show from Iron Age Mystics who have not got to see you guys live as of yet? What are they going to get when they come to see you guys, Kevin?
Good. That's actually a great question. And this is, you're going to be the first person to know it, and your listeners are going to be the first peoples to know it. We are booked into the prestigious Orbit Room here in Toronto for May 19th, which is the last, that's part 4 of a 4-part release. We're not going to do a full band performance. We're going to do an acoustic performance, and we're going to combine it with a listening party. So it'll be play a few tracks from the album, get up on stage, play a few tracks from the album, rinse and repeat, and do that a couple of times. And it promises to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Jazzed, actually.
That should be an amazing show. That's something different, and I think more bands should take advantage of that. Do a damn CD release show.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that idea from you guys.
Cool. It was actually the drummer's idea, but I'll take credit for it as long as he doesn't listen to this interview.
Yeah, I did that. Sure. Yeah.
No, seriously, yeah. No, that was Sasha's idea.
Yeah.
And a damn good one. You're right.
Do you like the digital era of recording albums that we're in right now? And plus, we've got social media now to reach out to more folks. Do you like this that we're in right now?
To be honest with you, I really, really don't, actually. Mm-hmm. The upside also comes with the dark side, right? The upside is through social media. You can do a heck of a lot more than you used to be able to do if you're an indie band in terms of reaching out and building followings and all good things like that, right? You don't necessarily need, $200,000 videos necessarily, right? Sometimes you can just do stuff just right out of the studio or right out of your basement, and it'll go viral. And sometimes, right? The problem, the dark side of that, if you will, John, is that live streaming has killed any real potential of remuneration where direct sale of your music is concerned, right? And I was talking to and this didn't come as a big surprise to me. And 5-6 years ago, I was talking to a fellow by the name of Paul Sanderson. He's one of the biggest entertainment lawyers in the country, and he's very, very well known. And he's been around since forever. And him and I were having a funny conversation, very jocular and what have you. But he said, "Listen, Kev, the only way you're going to make any money at this is playing live and selling merch. Because nobody's buying anymore. Nobody's buying music anymore. If you decide you're going to do the old-fashioned thing, he didn't say old-fashioned thing, but it is, of course, become relatively old-fashioned, like print CDs. You can sell them off the stage. You can do that, but it's CDs, T-shirts, merch, and what you make on the gig, and that's it, right? I was telling my manager, Kerry Forbes, about 2 weeks ago. We were having a conversation kind of along these lines, and my first royalty check without playing live for my first single released general to the public on radio, my first royalty check from Canada alone was $8,000, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking 30 years ago, so right. That's a hell of a lot of money by today's standards, right?
Sure, yeah.
I hate to say it, and I hate to put a damper on the young artists out there trying to kick their way out into the stream of people's consciousness, but you're not going to see that anymore, man. Like it's unless you're one of the chosen few, right? You are not going to see that kind of money coming back to you via radio play, via live streaming, via a lot of people and other artists have corroborated this with me. They look like they're rolling in it when you see them on the internet, and meanwhile, they're recording their videos and then they're going to pay for them through their day jobs, right?
Right.
It's just the way the scene has gone. So, my advice, if I can give anything cogent to offer here, is go back to the reason why you did it in the first place. Is because you love it, man. Because you're one of the rare few who can actually do it. Because it feeds your soul, and if you get heard and you're writing and recording a song that is no bullshit and affects people down at the soul level, then you're rich right there, man. Like you've already made it. So maybe it'll happen. I'll never say never. Lightning strikes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But do it because you love it, and you know you have to, because it's the right thing to do. That would be my advice. Unsolicited advice coming from Kev.
Even if you have to rinse and repeat, I mean, that's what you love. That's what you want to do.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
What made you want to become a musician? What was it spark for you, Kevin, that said, yeah, I want to do this. That's what I want to do?
Another good question, John. It all started back in the day when I was, I'm gonna guess around 9 or 8 or 9 or somewhere in there. At any rate, we were living in, my parents and I and my family were living in a high-rise apartment complex in the east end of Toronto. My parents were tough stuff, right? Like, very blue-collar, tough stuff, right? And apparently I did something, I don't even remember what it was, but it was so stupid. My mother thought that I needed to be grounded for about 1.5 years, maybe 2.
Oh, God.
And you'd think if it was that stupid, I'd actually remember what it was, but I don't. So, okay, here I am. I hate doing homework, so that's not what I'm going to do when when I'm sitting by myself in my bedroom. So what I started to do, which I would still do with regularity anyway, but instead of going out and playing sports with, my young chums, I put on a phonograph record and sing my brains out the window. And I do this for hours and hours and hours, and I'd do it every night. And, I'd imagine, I'd dream, I'd look at the window, I'd see, the cars going by, and I'd see the stars in the sky if it was late. And I go, man, I want to sing, man. I want to write songs. It was just, something that got into my blood and, and took over my entire life. And I've been working at it, doing it ever since then. And that was a long, long time ago, man.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you that Iron Age Mystics get support from, or your guys' music even gets played there possibly?
We've gotten, not so far. We've gotten played in Australia, in the U.S., obviously, in Canada, obviously, UK, a little bit in Ireland, Spain, Portugal. I'm actually probably thus far a little bit shocked that countries that are, given the tone of the music, countries like, say, Germany, that's experiencing its own civil problems right now, haven't taken up with it more, but maybe it's just a matter of exposure. Don't know, can't really speak to that.
Yeah, in foreign countries, man, when they go through their civil stuff, it's light or day. It's either they get it or they don't. I mean, it's whether it gets fed through or not, like you said. They may get it, they may not right now. But
yeah, well, it kind of goes back to what you asked me before, John, about the downshot of the internet being the main medium of which people hear songs is that there is so much out there, right?
Yeah.
In order to find something that really speaks to you and that has a certain level of professional commitment, if you will, you got to search around for a while. You really do. There's just too much out there. I mean, I'm glad that some people get the 15 minutes worth of fame, but I mean, honestly, too many times they just should have stuck to singing in the shower. You know what I'm saying?
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Iron Age Mystics' first part of this EP or album that's being released. Save It for the Revolution is out now, plus that includes Pride Before the Fall and The Great Divide. All this is going to be released out May 19th, and like Kevin said, they also will be performing a live show plus it's going to be like a CD release show as well. So, Kevin, my man, how could folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates, all that good stuff? How can they do that?
Oh, well, it's a one-stop shop, really, John. You can go to ironagemystics.com, and if you want to, we've got what we have for merch available, and there'll be more merch coming. We plan on making a T-shirt out of that Mr. Fish illustration that I told you about maybe a half hour ago. Yeah, 3 songs at a time, and by May 19th, it'll be gloves off. You can download anything you like, or you can just drop by and catch a vibe. There's lots of cool shit on that site. So
before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for my show?
I would love to do a promo for your show. How you doing? This is Kevin Connelly from Iron Age Mystics, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Oh, yeah.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please check out our Facebook page. It includes our podcast link, plus our YouTube link, and also soon a Twitch link. Plus, get out and check out Iron Age Mystics albums that they're creating right now. I think this is really cool with the how many parts that they do with this? 4-part, I should say. And get out and check them out and give them a chance, folks. You never know. You might find another diamond in the rough, as I should say. So, Kevin, best of luck to all you guys, man.
Oh, thank you so much, man. This has just been a pure pleasure speaking with you.